What's up everyone? It's Mel here with Treasuring Life, and today I'm going to be showing you how to narrow down your search for The Secret, A Treasure Hunt by Byron Preiss. Now I've seen questions all over the place wondering if the proposed locations are correct. Well, you're in luck because today I'm going to show you how to find a representation of the state or some other indication of a state in each of the paintings. Hopefully by now you've already watched my previous introductory episode on what I like to call the Preiss Code, which just gives you an idea how to get started. If you haven't already watched that introductory episode, I can link it here so that you can check it out. If you have already watched it, I want to thank you for that. It definitely means you're in the right place. Now, in order to come up with my Preiss Code steps, I did my own extensive research using just the book, the paintings, and the verses, without any outside resources at first. Since I knew these treasures had gone so long without being recovered, I wanted to use a fresh set of eyes and my own intuition to guide me where I needed to go, rather than possibly being misled by some of the other theories that are out there. Once I had a good grasp on everything, that's when I looked to resources like the wiki and Facebook groups. According to my findings, some of the things that they listed on the wiki and Facebook groups were correct, and some were not. Nevertheless, these resources did help me some in formulating my Preiss Code. Now, these episodes will be an accumulation of everything that I've figured out, along with some of the things that I've found on either the wiki or Facebook groups that I think made the most sense. This is an effort to help treasure hunters out there by consolidating the most useful information into one place so that it makes the most sense to solve each puzzle. Please understand that this information is my own interpretation of the clues, broken down into a systematic approach in order to figure each and every puzzle out. That being said, everything I go over in these episodes is completely subjective until a casque is actually recovered. I'll be ordering each of my instructional Preiss Code episodes so that each one builds off of the previous one, just because that's how it's easiest to convey to others. As of today, I believe I've figured out the location for 7 of the 10 remaining treasures using my Preiss Code. Those locations include St. Augustine, Charleston, Roanoke Island, New York, Boston, Milwaukee, and Houston. As I said in my last episode, I was in a car accident that left me in daily pain, which made it very difficult for me to even probe the ground or dig at the locations that I've determined. In my last episode, I also mentioned something about needing neck surgery. Well, I went ahead and had that done. You can see my scar right here. I had to wear a neck collar for the first 6 weeks after surgery. I just had neck surgery last week and have to wear this collar for at least 2 weeks, but maybe up to 6 weeks. You can kind of see my little bandage in here where I had the surgery. Got another one up here. I'm doing okay. I'm up, moving around better than I was before the surgery. I was out of work for about a month prior to the surgery. It had gotten so bad that I was having stabbing pain and dizziness within 30 minutes to an hour of standing up or sitting up or anything. So I was pretty much bedridden. I was having to lay down the whole time for like the last month before surgery, and I couldn't work. Couldn't do anything really. I had to hold on to furniture to get to the bathroom. I had to depend a lot on Elena to help me out. So basically, yeah, I'm not going to be recording any videos about The Secret until I recover a little bit, at least until I get this off. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update, let you know where I'm at and why I haven't had any videos go out. So I wasn't too keen on recording a video with a neck collar on, so forgive me. I know it's been a while, but I just didn't want to record with that on me. I still have a long road of recovery because I'm still going through physical therapy in order to get my range of motion back where it was so I can turn my head. But once I'm fully recovered, I do hope to resume my efforts and try to get these treasures dug up myself. Now, there are several things that you're looking for in each painting. The first thing you need to look for in each painting is going to be an aerial view of the state or some other obvious representation of the state. Most of these are easy enough to make out. However, Byron only shows a small portion of the state, and it isn't necessarily exact scale to what we can find on Google Maps today. This means that matching things up could be a little bit more difficult just because the entire state may not fit in the space, or it would be a dead giveaway. I do want to point out that I'm only going to be going over the details that get you to a casque. I'm not going to be going over all the extra details that are in the paintings, simply because there are so many. But what I will be going over is just the stuff that will get you straight to a casque. After I'm done with the instructional Preiss Code episodes, then I'll be going into a dedicated episode for each of the puzzles. So there's going to be 12 episodes just dedicated to each one of the puzzles. In some of the paintings, Byron may give coordinates, but be warned, these coordinates will only get you close to a potential city that the casque is possibly located in. They aren't meant to represent the actual location of the casque. That would just be too easy, right? Sometimes there will only be one representation for a latitude or a longitude. Sometimes there will be multiple, but they're always going to be represented in a similar fashion. This means that, say, when two latitudes are represented, both will be in similar places or similar textures within the painting, and the same with longitudes. Some paintings will only have one representation of both a latitude and a longitude, and in those paintings, those two numbers will be represented in a similar fashion as well. Not every painting has coordinates though. In my research, I've found that the paintings without coordinates have some other visual representation that will get you to the right place. Some of these are actually a puzzle within a puzzle. Also with the coordinates, I do want to point out that they will also get you close to a city, but for this episode alone, we're just looking at the state. We're trying to get a representation of the state. In the next episode, we'll be going over how to get to the city. The first painting we ever worked on was painting number 6, which is the closest to our location here in Central Florida. The state for this painting is very obviously represented in the negative space in the clouds. And I figure that if this painting had a representation of a state, then the others may possibly have the same thing as well. So that's where I started. Some of the states were obvious. For the ones that weren't, all I did was overlay a map of the state onto the painting, and I decreased the opacity so that I could see the painting underneath. Then it was just a matter of scaling things down and moving it around until I found a match. With all of that in mind, let's take a look at the paintings and I'll show you what I've found. This is image number 1, most commonly thought to be in San Francisco, California. Take a look at the woman's hair and follow it all the way down to her right elbow. When I overlay a map of California, it partially fits along the coast of Los Angeles right here, confirming California as the state for this treasure. Byron also gives us a latitude range of 37 and 38. You can see how they are represented in a similar way within the woman's hair. Then he gives us a longitude range of 122 and 123, also represented in a similar way at the top part of the woman's robes, yet those are represented in Roman numerals. This is a perfect example of what I was telling you about the coordinates being represented similarly. Since these coordinates fall completely within the state of California, it confirms California as the state for this painting. But it does take things a step further. It also zeroes in on a number of potential cities in which to look for clues. But we'll tackle more of that in the next episode. This is image number 2, most commonly thought to be in Charleston, South Carolina. Byron gives us a latitude range of 32 and 33 represented in a similar way on each side of the lion's mane. The 32 appears both upside down and backwards. Then he gives us a longitude range of 79 and 80, again in a similar fashion on each side of the lion's mane. These coordinates confirm South Carolina as the state for this painting. This is image number 3, most commonly thought to be in Roanoke Island, North Carolina. If you simply place a map over the pedestal, flip it over and scale it down, the entire state of North Carolina is represented right here, confirming North Carolina as the state for this painting. Byron gives us a latitude range of 35 and 36 right here on the wall. Then he gives us a longitude of 75 on the wall as well. These coordinates get us near the northern border of North Carolina where it meets with Virginia. This is image number 4, the casque for which has already been recovered and confirmed to be in Cleveland, Ohio. The entire state of Ohio is depicted right here on the left side of the painting. Byron gives us a latitude range of 41 and 42 on this side of the monument. Then he gives us a longitude of 81 on this side of the monument. I believe the reason Byron did this is because there's no reason to give any further of a range than that. Some cities are long, some cities are wide. What I found is that in those cities that are either long or wide, a lot of times he'll only give you one coordinate, either a latitude or a longitude. This is image number 5, the casque for which has also been recovered and confirmed to be in Chicago, Illinois. The entire state of Illinois is depicted right here, just flipped over as a mirror image. Byron gives us a latitude of 41 on these two arms of the windmill. Then he gives us a longitude of 87 on the other two arms of the windmill. These ranges give us the state of Illinois for this painting. This is image number 6, most commonly thought to be in St. Augustine, Florida. If you look all along the edge of the rock on the right side, a partial outline of Florida's west coast is clearly depicted in the negative space along the face of the rock, which confirms Florida as the state for this painting. The wiki claims the latitude and longitude is represented in the face of the rock, but I came about finding this particular city in a different way. I'll tackle that in the next episode. Plus, I've never seen a set of coordinates represented more than twice in any one painting. Yet the wiki claims 3 or more matches each of the 29, 30, and 81. But I personally believe, like the rebus in the Milwaukee puzzle, Byron gave us a puzzle within a puzzle to figure this one out. But like I said, I'll go over that in the next episode. Image number 6 was the most obvious representation of an aerial view of the state in all of the paintings, and it's also how I came up with this first step of the Preiss Code. This is image number 7, most commonly thought to be in New Orleans, Louisiana. If you look at this particular square in the bottom right of the painting, to me it resembles a dragon's head. But if you turn it upside down like this, you can see that it's a representation of the entire state of Louisiana. Byron gives us a latitude of 29 in the top right-hand corner of the clock, and much like the Cleveland painting, this is the only number we need for latitude to get us to the location of a major city. Then he gives us a longitude of 90 in the bottom right corner of the clock. These coordinates get us to the state of Louisiana for this painting. This is image number 8, most commonly thought to be in Houston, Texas. All you have to do is overlay a map, scale it down, and you'll see that the entire state of Texas is at the base of the obelisk in relief, confirming Texas as the state for this painting. Byron gives us a dark and bold latitude of 30 within the leaves of the tree, which I think tells us that this is the only representation of a latitude that we need. Then he gives us a longitude range of 95 and 96, also in the tree, but represented with the thin lines coming off of a branch, taking us to the state of Texas for this painting. This is image number 9, most commonly thought to be in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. If you overlay a map of Canada, you can see that the entire province of Quebec is depicted in the man's collar. All we have to do is scale it down, which confirms Quebec, Canada as the province for this painting. Byron gives us a latitude of 45 and a longitude of 73. Both are located within the hair of what I like to call the Mona Lisa man. For that reason, I think these are the only coordinates that we need since they are represented in such a similar fashion and so close together. I don't see any other indication of coordinates, nor has any been indicated on the wiki or Facebook groups that I've seen. Regardless, these coordinates get us to Quebec, Canada. This is image number 10, most commonly thought to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Again, all we have to do is overlay a map, scale it down, and you can see that the western coast of the state of Wisconsin is depicted beside the hilltop next to the woman's cape, confirming Wisconsin as the state for this painting. I have not found any indication of coordinates in this painting. Instead, Byron gives us a rebus with a millstone, a walking stick, and a key, which when combined gives us Milwaukee, which is of course in the state of Wisconsin. This is image number 11, most commonly thought to be in Boston, Massachusetts. If you look just underneath the woman's hair and below the circular window. A portion of Massachusetts is represented in relief on the back wall. Byron gives us a latitude of 42 on the cuff of her left wrist and a longitude of 71 on the cuff of her right upper arm. Since these are represented in such a similar fashion on each of the woman's arms, I think these are the only coordinates that we need. These coordinates confirm Massachusetts as the state for this painting. This is image number 12, most commonly thought to be in Manhattan, New York. If you look at the central figure's face, you can see that her features are exactly like the Statue of Liberty. Take a look at the same deep-set eyes, the long, straight nose, the strong brow, the midline part of her hair, and the same shape of her lips. Some other things you may notice is that she's dressed in robes and surrounded by water. With an iconic figure like the Statue of Liberty, every American knows that her location within the United States is in New York. Then Byron gives us a latitude of 41 turned backwards right here in the water, and a longitude of 74 also in the water. Since both of these are represented in a similar fashion in the water, with thin blue lines within the lighter blue swirls, these are the only coordinates we need to confirm New York as the state for this painting. Well, there you have it. what I believe to be either a state or the coordinates represented in each of the paintings. Something I want you to notice is that repetition plays a crucial role in each of these paintings. Not only did Byron give us a visual that it's a state or the visual of a rebus, but he also gives us coordinates. So in repeating the same thing over and over again, he's showing us that when we find these repeating elements, that we're on the right path. So you're looking for patterns, and if you don't see patterns, then you're probably on the wrong path. If you liked this video, or if you thought it was helpful, please give me a thumbs up. If you aren't already subscribed, you can just click on our picture here. If you want to be notified of any of our future uploads, you can just tap the bell. Feel free to comment below, but please be respectful. I do share this YouTube channel with my teenage daughter, and there's enough bullying out there in the world already. So there's no need for ugliness on here, especially since I'm giving all these Preiss Code steps out for everyone to see. Hopefully it can help each one of you on your search. As I said before, I believe I have them figured out, but it's all subjective until a casque is actually recovered. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Oh, by the way, in the next episode, I'll show you how to narrow down your search even more and find a representation of the city in each of the paintings.